goes to the Brittany Higgins interview, The Project.
Thank you so much for this incredible honour. This interview and this story is by far the most important work I have ever done.
Hello, I'm Paul Barry. Welcome to Media Watch. And that was 10's Lisa Wilkinson with the 2.5-minute Logie speech that stopped a criminal trial just days before it was set to begin. And as you doubtless know, she was singing the praises of one young woman.
When our story went to air, the entire country knew the name Brittany Higgins.
Wilkinson's story on 10's The Project in February last year was an exclusive TV interview in which Higgins claimed to have been sexually assaulted in Canberra's Parliament House.
She alleges in 2019 she was raped by fellow staffer Bruce Lerman, who has pleaded not guilty.
Lerman's trial was due to begin this week and to be heard by a jury. But Wilkinson's Logie speech, which lauded Higgins' courage and bravery, put a stop to those proceedings and thrust the TV host into the headlines in the most inglorious of ways.
Trial and error. Lisa Wilkinson's speech at the Logies backfires. The Brittany Higgins rape case delayed.
This was the withering front page in Lisa's hometown tabloid, The Daily Telegraph.
Hand up if you've caused court chaos.
Rape trial date vacated after TV host's Logie speech.
And on page 5 of the paper came another hit.
Lisa's Logie's blow to justice.
Across the News Corp empire, columnists and leader writers also piled in, condemning Wilkinson for her supposed stupidity and calling for her to be charged with contempt. So, what was her sin? To forget the presumption of innocence, or as the ACT's Chief Justice Lucy McCullum put it to the court,
mightn't good journalism be mindful of criminal proceedings and remembering to insert the magic word alleged?
Now, the rules of contempt of court and sub judice are not new. They're cornerstones of the criminal justice system. And Lisa Wilkinson is well aware of them, telling people last year on Twitter to respect what's in play here, because passing judgment could have dire consequences for the outcome of any trial. And yet, that is what she appears to have done. Because Wilkinson's Logie speech didn't only fail to use the word alleged. As the Chief Justice went on to explain,
Ms Wilkinson openly referred to and praised the complainant in the present trial. Ms Wilkinson's status as a respected journalist is such as to lend credence to the representation of the complainant as a woman of courage whose story must be believed.
In other words, by effectively trumpeting the truth of Higgins' allegation, the presumption of innocence was obliterated, with the Chief Justice concluding,
the distinction between an untested allegation and the fact of guilt has been lost.
And how did 10's The Project cover this embarrassing story about its star host, who reportedly earns more than $1 million a year? It didn't, apart from this brief mention on Tuesday evening.
The trial of the man charged with the alleged rape of Brittany Higgins has been delayed. Bruce Lerman's lawyers asked for a stay of proceedings following coverage of the project's Logies award win.
That short item conspicuously failed to mention Wilkinson's role in causing the delay, and the programme has not returned to it since. Nor has Wilkinson been back on air. As high-profile media barrister Matthew Collins told Sunrise the day after the trial was halted,
you guys understand the risk inherent in talking about cases which are about to go to trial before courts, particularly serious high-profile cases. So clearly this was ill-advised.
But Lisa Wilkinson and Network 10, whose lawyers reportedly approved her speech before delivery, are not alone in making this embarrassing blunder. Also to blame were WSFM's Brendan Jones and Amanda Keller, who replayed some of Wilkinson's speech before the judge had condemned it and raved about the story.
There were some really lovely moments last night, one of which was the award that Lisa Wilkinson and the Project picked up for the story they did on Brittany Higgins.
We won't play you any more, except to say their comments were ill-advised and prejudicial, with the Chief Justice telling the court,
each of the radio presenters assumed the guilt of the accused.
Now, this contempt of the legal process really is a shocker, because we're not talking about young kids here starting out in journalism, but 3 experienced senior members of the profession. And what makes it even more extraordinary is that Lisa Wilkinson may be called as a witness in the Higgins trial and had also been warned about her speech by prosecution lawyers before her Logie appearance. As 7 News reported,
the court was told Wilkinson was warned less than a week ago that any increased publicity could delay the trial. She offered to read out her Logie's acceptance speech, but was interrupted by the prosecution, who said it wasn't their job to proofread.
The Lerman trial is now set for the first week of October, with the court seeking undertakings from Lisa Wilkinson, Brendan Jones and Amanda Keller to cease any further comments that might influence the jury. As the ACT Director of Public Prosecutions told the court,
they involve acknowledgement that interfering with the due administration of law or breach of the sub judice could amount to contempt proceedings.
It really is an indictment of modern media standards that any of this has taken place. And hammering that point in crikey was lawyer Michael Bradley.
The law is still the law. Since we're all so excitable about the rule of law, how about we fucking comply with it?
Now there's an idea. But as Bradley went on to explain, in the justifiable desire to take sexual assault allegations seriously, a fundamental rule has been forgotten.
So easily lost in the maelstrom of Me Too is the slightly subtle point that believing survivors is not the same thing as discarding the presumption of innocence.
Good point, and one rarely reflected on social media. So, let this sorry tale be a warning to all those in the mainstream media who want to jump on matters before the courts. Think before you speak, or better still, don't speak at all. Meanwhile, 10 is doing all it can to protect Lisa Wilkinson and warning rival media to back off.
This reporting is now causing significant harm, and we ask these organisations to cease this harassment, to allow Lisa the best opportunity to give her evidence in court and to enable the trial to go ahead in a fair and timely manner.
We'll see how that goes. But now, to 7 News, and one of those stories the media just loves, about an Aussie medical miracle.
The Australian-made supplement slowing the ageing process and the Sydney researchers responsible.
Yes, that's 7 News, with the promise of a pill that can make us all stay young. And if the hype is anything to go by, it's got to be good.
The new TGA-approved drug helping people turn back time, how a locally developed supplement is fighting the signs of ageing.
And that is just the Sydney sell, with the elixir of youth spruiked equally hard in Brisbane, Melbourne and Hobart.
A major breakthrough, they say, will help beat the signs of ageing.
A major breakthrough.
And the secret is all found in one simple supplement.
Regular viewers of Media Watch will hear the words major breakthrough and secret and know to proceed with caution. But what exactly is this simple supplement that helps to turn back time?
The product Cinex is Australia's first anti-ageing supplement, or NAD, and is the brainchild of a number of PhD students from Sydney University. Their revolutionary product, now officially given the green light by the TGA.
NAD molecules, it seems, are crucial for healthy cell function, and we lose them as we age. The product's creators claim the supplement can help stem the tide.
We want to maintain a good, healthy level of NAD and its metabolism in our body so we can have anti-aging effect or even reverse aging.
Impressive, eh? A product that not only stops you getting older, but could make you younger. So did 7 present any scientific evidence to back up this anti-aging claim? No. But we did hear from a happy customer.
51-year-old Anna Chan thinks it holds the key.
I hardly need to put makeup on. I felt my skin condition is really good and I felt myself full of energy.
Bingo! What more proof do you need? And next morning, 7 Sunrise set out to flog the dream with youthful abandon.
Is it a fountain of youth, the anti-ageing supplement given TGA approval?
But alas, the Sunrise segment did not age well, after Natalie Barr asked the programme's resident doctor whether viewers should believe the claims.
This does sound too good to be true. How does it work and what's in it?
It is too good to be true. It's not going to work.
Oh dear. Following which, Dr Ginny Mansberg set about demolishing 7's good news story.
The theory has been if you can increase the NAD plus in your cells, which naturally declines with age, we could then help you live longer. The problem is, while there's a little bit of evidence from yeast and worms that increasing NAD plus in cells actually might do just that, we don't have that evidence for humans. And even if we did, nothing in this very expensive multivitamin pill has any evidence that it increases NAD plus in the cells whatsoever outside of a couple of test tube trials.
Wow. But hang on, didn't 7 News tell us?
Their revolutionary product, now officially given the green light by the TGA.
It did. But Dr Mansberg dismissed the significance of that claim just as bluntly.
Lots of things are TGA approved. That doesn't mean they work. It just means they get permission to stick it on the shelf.
And it certainly doesn't mean the TGA says it will stop you getting old. as Dr Bruce Willett from the Royal Australian College of GPs told Media Watch.
The public might be surprised just how little scientific evidence there usually is that these products actually work. The suggestion that the TGA has approved this particular product is disingenuous, and I hope the TGA will clamp down on such misleading marketing spin.
But I can't say we're confident about that because the claims were made in a news report and the TGA only polices advertising. Yes, really. As for using the daily supplement itself, which costs more than $100 a month, Dr Willett says check with your doctor. And he offers that same advice to Seven.
I hope 7 News will also seek expert medical advice for future medical stories too.
And we're pleased to say that's exactly what 9 News did do. When Cinex was served up as a, quote, national TV exclusive, 9's medical reporter, Gabriella Rogers, contacted biochemist Dr Lindsay Wu, a specialist in the field of NAD research, who told her,
I wouldn't touch this story with a barge pole.
For 9, the story died then and there, only to get its heroic run a month later on 7. We asked 7 to comment, they didn't bother. We also asked the company that makes Cinex if it could show us any published studies for its product and its anti-ageing claims. It told us,
the team has obtained human data for Cinex in the past years, and these results are used to improve the formula. TGA has very limited protection to proprietary blends, therefore the team decided not to publish those results.
We'll take that as a no. And finally tonight, to the Leader of the Opposition, or so you might have thought if you add up all the media coverage he gets.
Let's go to Matt Canavan, the National Senator for Queensland.
Let's get into it with Queensland Senator Matt Canavan.
Also looking great in HD, none other than Matt Canavan.
Matt Canavan, who's with us from Yeppoon.
But let's go to the man we should be listening to, Queensland Senator Matt Canavan.
And that's just this month. The former Resources Minister turned National Party dissident has become a media favourite for his straight talk on policy and party matters. And the coal-loving champion is happy to beam in from anywhere, whether it's in high-vis among mine workers, running his eye over the cattle yards of central Queensland, or on the tools in his own back shed. The media like him, of course, because Canavan provides instant controversy, as he did in the election campaign with this damning rejection of the Coalition's climate pledge.
Well, the net zero thing is all sort of dead anyway. I mean, Boris Johnson's said he's pausing the net zero commitment. Germany's building coal and gas infrastructure. Italy's reopening coal-fired power plants. It's all over. I mean, it's all over bar the shouting here.
That was a policy his own government was taking to the people. And even if you didn't catch what Canavan said, his message was clearly visible on screen for all to see. Build coal power stations. It was hardly subliminal. But when you have your very own home studio, you can dress the set however you like, as the ABC's Greg Jennett has explained to viewers.
And for viewers not familiar with Senator Canavan's setup, we do offer the standard disclaimer that he's using his own camera equipment in his own office and we don't exert any control over any messages in that office.
An important disclosure for viewers worried about undue electioneering on your ABC. But no such worries at 9 and Sky, who regularly transmit Canavan and his slogans to the nation. Back in November, Canavan's TV billboard was railing against COVID vaccine mandates, which made a change from his usual pro-fossil fuel messaging, like declaring the Glasgow climate talks a huge win for coal.
It's a great result for Australia, great result for our coal industry.
Or this handy Glasgow plane watch, calculating all the carbon miles for Sky viewers, after an earlier warning that net zero would cost more than 300,000 jobs. And Canavan's messaging has not let up this year, with warnings to avoid Europe's fate by keeping coal power open, calls for more energy to lower prices, and declaring net zero equals higher energy bills. It's not subtle and not official opposition policy. But as Canavan TV told us, coal powers 60% of Australia. Or is it 70%? Or maybe 65%? Or could it be 56%? I guess it depends on the day. But of course there's no fact-checking from any of the broadcasters. And Matt's even got a solution for when the switch to renewables leaves us all in the dark. It's cardboard and marker pens at the ready.
Not enough coal power through to turn on the TV is the message behind
I'm doing my bit.
Very good.
I'm doing my bit, Paul.
Yep, Canavan TV is always on message, his own pro-coal message. And despite him being out of step with all the major parties and 90% of Australia's politicians, there are plenty in the media who are happy to help him spread that message, slogans and all. And that's all from us for tonight. There's more on our website where you can stream and download the programme. And don't forget, Media Bites every Thursday. And finally, thanks to Janine Perrott and Andy Park for doing a great job while I was away. Until next week, goodbye.